Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today will be a bit motivational video because I'm going to share with you my story, how and when I realized that I need to learn English, when I found the reasons to learn English, and how English changed my life. If you still try to find the reasons to start learning English, this video is for you. Continue watching this video. My relationships with the English language was a little bit confusing at the beginning. When I was a little child, I didn't really see the reasons to learn English. My parents said to me that I should do that, but I personally had no desire to do that. When I was at school in my first, second, third, and fourth grade, I learned English just in order to get great marks because I was an excellent student. And for now I'm also an excellent student, and I just tried to impress my teacher and I tried to learn a little bit more words that I needed, but the goal of that was just to get great marks, and that's it. I never had an idea and desire to speak in English. But everything changed in the 8th grade when I met my classmate who actually speaks English. And you know, if you're an excellent student, you can understand me. Like, before I met this person, I was excellent at everything. I knew all subjects and I was kind of the best student in the class, but here I met a person who's better than me in a particular subject, and I thought that it's wrong. I need to be better than him, and I felt a bit envious, but of course it's a bad feeling, but this is how I felt when I met that person. So I decided to learn English as well. So I opened the YouTube and I found some videos about English language, and then I realized that I will never learn English in order to impress my classmates or teachers. I will learn English for myself. I found a video of Marina Mogilko. If you know Russian language, you probably know that channel to learn English, or if you're not, there's a channel that is called Lingua Marina. You probably recognize this person. So yeah, I got inspired by this person, and she talked about full range of opportunities that become open to people who know English. And being under the desire to learn English, I started to learn this long list of different words, different grammatical rules, and I understood that school is not enough for me anymore. I just want to learn English by myself. I started to create my personal plans in order to improve my English, and that's it. I learned like a crazy. I learned English like 8 hours per day, or maybe even more. Like, I was so motivated, and you know, when you at the beginning of something, you can easily see the first improvements so quickly. So that's why I never lost my motivation at the beginning, of course. But there's a little problem appeared after 3 months of that crazy learning. I understood that though I do a lot to improve my English, I cannot see the progress. Like, I can't speak in English. I learned a lot of words, I learned a lot of grammar, but in spite of that, I couldn't understand English videos. I couldn't understand the audios. Like, my listening skills were so bad. I couldn't speak in English, and that was a bit frustrating. By the way, it was the beginning of my 9th grade, and I started to get bad marks from English subject, and that sounds pretty counterintuitive, but this is the truth. And after that period of time, I realized what mistakes I did. Actually, I learned English the wrong way. Like, of course, it's great to learn new words and new grammatical structures, but I learned like 20 new words per day, and despite the efforts, I didn't use them at all. And of course, I forgot the majority of them because of that wrong approach. So, and I understood I'm really bad language learner. So I thought maybe this is not my thing. Maybe I should do something else. For example, create videos for YouTube in my native language and forget about that English language. Then I found another YouTube video about English language, and again got inspired. I don't remember this video exactly, but I understood that there is a thing that is called intermediate plateau, and I understood the reason why, despite of this huge efforts, I cannot get my great results. So I understood that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person who faces that problems, and I just kept going. I continued to learn new words, but this time I started to be more clever with my English language, and despite of learning these words and learning like 20 words per day, I started to actually use them in different contexts. I started to repeat them regularly in order to not forget them. I started to concentrate on my listening skills and reading skills. I started to read the books, and it was so hard at the beginning, and I felt really frustrated because, you know, I saw that huge text and I couldn't understand almost every third word from that book, and you know, that was a hell to read something. I started to learn English not as a science, as I say in my videos on YouTube pretty regularly. I started to use English in order to understand new stuff. Like, thanks to that wrong approach to learn a lot of words, I improved my vocabulary stack, and I started to understand at least something in English. And as I said in previous videos, I was interested in psychology, so that I started to watch YouTube videos about psychology. Of course, I watched them with subtitles, sometimes with English subtitles, sometimes with my native language subtitles, with Ukrainian subtitles, but it's pretty bad idea. Like, don't do that, because you will not improve your English by watching these videos with your native language subtitles. But of course, you can do that at the beginning, but if you're already intermediate, don't do that. So yeah, I started to use English in my real life. Then I got this amazing idea from another YouTube video that I should probably start my personal diary in order to improve my writing skills, because before that I just tried to improve my writing by learning new grammatical structures, but that was completely wrong approach. I never used that structures to improve my English. I remember I had the cover book, like, I want to show you it right now.
2 hours later.
And I remember I did almost everything from that book. I tried to go through each and every topic, but I never used these structures in my real life. That's why I just couldn't remember them. And getting the great idea of starting my personal diary, I started to write my thoughts on the piece of the paper. I started to practice these rules, and in such a way I started to remember them, which is cool. So yeah, I started to learn English in more correct way. So yeah, I have lots of videos on my channel where I'm sharing with you these tips, how to learn English correctly and how to go through that intermediate plateau and start speaking. So again, about speaking, by the way, I forgot to say about it. I started to actually speak in English, and that was the most important thing, and I realized that so late. Like, I thought that I need to learn all words in order to be able to speak in English, but right now I can speak about almost everything in English, and it doesn't matter that I have a huge stock of the words. I just practice the vocabulary that I use every single day. And slowly, step by step, I try to turn my passive vocabulary into my active vocabulary. So here I am, I have an advanced level of English, but you know, I'm convinced that in different areas we feel differently. Like, for example, I feel pretty confident when I'm talking about different studying technique, when I'm talking about English, when I'm talking about some topics from neurobiology, because I completed the course in Coursera from that subject. But if I start to talk about, you know, military, or when I start to talk about some politics or economics, I'm not that confident in that subjects. But that's cool. You need to improve your English in areas that you need to improve and start from it. Then, gradually, you'll improve your skills not only in the areas you're interested in, but also in other areas. So, I know English language. That helps me in my daily life a lot. That completely changed my life. English language changed me as a person. This is the truth, because when I speak in English, I feel differently. When I started to learn English, I started to associate myself with different people, from which I got that lessons in YouTube, from which I learned English, and that's so cool. Like, I remember when I talked about different techniques to improve your speaking skills, I said that you need to somehow compare yourself with a role model, and when you try to explain some topic, you need to imagine yourself as you're the person who is your role model. So sometimes it works for me. That's why I feel a bit differently when I speak in English. I started to watch American YouTube and I started to create my own videos in English. Of course, not that popular blogger. I have around 1,000 subscribers, but I hope that by the end of this month I'll get this 1,000 subscribers. You are the best, guys. I have another YouTube channel when I have around 60 subscribers, but you can change it. I'll leave the link in the description, a little advertisement for my another YouTube channel. I have this opportunity to read books, their original versions, not translations, let me say it that way. I started to learn my school subjects not from the Ukrainian books in Ukrainian school, but I started to use American YouTube or American courses in order to understand these subjects better. So yeah, that's amazing. I started to watch movies in English language, like original versions of that movies, and that sounds pretty superficial, pretty simple, but that really changed me as a person. That changed my life completely. And you know, I have plans, I have dreams for my future that are related to English speaking countries, so that's amazing. Like you start to feel more confident, not only when you speak in English, but also in your real life. You feel more confident in almost everything that you do when you know English. Okay guys, that was everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that this video will motivate you to learn English the way 3 years ago Lingua Marina's video motivated me to learn English. And I wish you the best. See you in the next video. Bye bye.